to interpret the slope. So here's, we're going to have 3 examples of these, okay? The first 2 are on your paper. The third one is just another one just to make sure you guys can do this, okay? It says a study was done to investigate the relationship between the age X in years of a young person and the time Y in minutes in which a child can run 1 kilometer. Data from the children between ages 7 and 18 were collected. The equation of the regression line was found to be y equals 20 minus 1/2 x, slope-intercept form. Interpret the slope and the y-intercept, okay? So this actually means you got to put in words. What does the slope mean? What does the y-intercept mean? Okay? What do you think? We'll answer these as a group, and then I'll give you like a minute to think about the third one, and then I want to hear your responses. What does the slope mean? What does slope mean normally?
It's the change.
Change in what?
Well, one factor gives you another factor, so
What are my 2 factors here then?
age and speed.
Age and time. Okay, so age is x and time is y. Normally slope is which variable over which variable? Y over x. So technically that is basically the change in time as they age, right? So my slope is a negative 1/2. So what does that mean?
That would the top be negative? Would it be the 1 is negative? It means that it's a negative slope, therefore as people get older, the less fast,
Yeah,
the least time it takes for them to run that 1 kilometer.
I think it
Least or more? I mean, the more time.
Okay, so think about it. It is a negative slope, so that means it's going down. So that means yes, the older you get, the least amount of time it's going to take you to run 1 kilometer. So that's how you interpret slope. You will write that in words.
Oh,
Okay? And you probably want to be a little bit more detailed in that, being, using the numbers. How fast are you increasing as you age?
1/2 kilometer.
Not 1/2 kilometer, not 2.
2 years.
That's 1. It's the 1/2. 1/2,
It's -1/2.
negative 1 over 2. So how much faster are you running this as you age?
2.
No.
2 minutes.
No.
negative
Half. Huh?
30 seconds every year.
30 seconds. You're getting faster by 30 seconds every year. So when you're interpreting this, when you're actually writing in words, yes, it's good that you're saying, as you age, you're getting faster, but by how much? Okay, that's what they're going to be looking for. They're going to be looking for the exact number. Okay?
Oh, because you're losing half a minute.
Mm-hmm. And since y was in minutes, and that 1/2 would be, half a minute. And then your y-intercept. My y-intercept is 20. Now think about it. This is a line that's decreasing, meaning that it's hitting your y-axis at 0, 20. Let's think about this. What's my x represent? Age. My y-intercept is 20. So you're telling me that at age 0, I'm running 1 kilometer? Does that make sense?
No.
No. So when you're interpreting the y-intercept, what would you say? What would you say on the IB exam if this was on there?
That it takes 20 minutes That's for my a mother to 0-year-old to run a kilometer.
But let's think about it. Can a 0-year-old, a fetus, someone who just popped out?
A 0-year-old can't even lift their legs.
They can't.
They're like, eh.
So you want to explain that. The y-intercept here, according to this situation, isn't relevant, okay? It's not really, there's no way we can actually interpret that, because that's true. A 0-year-old is not going to take 20 minutes to run 1 kilometer. They can barely crawl.
They
Okay.
can't move.
So you would actually state that it is irrelevant in this situation, okay?
It's like the y-intercept is irrelevant because 0-year-olds can't run. So they'd run the kilometer in 20 minutes.
Technically, according to this, but when you think about it realistically, that does not make sense.
At all.
So that's how you interpret these things, okay? You're actually putting it into words, and it's based off of your situation. Okay? You guys get it down? let's look at the next one. It says a biologist wants to study the relationship between the number of trees X per hectare and the number of birds Y per hectare. She calculates the equation of the regression line to be y equals 8 plus 8.4x, state the gradient and the y-intercept and interpret them. Well, what's the gradient?
8.4.
So the gradient is 5.4, and what's my y-intercept?
8.
8. So we got that part down. Now we need to interpret them. 5.4.
Decimal.
Well, I mean, you can always convert it to a fraction.
The slope is positive.
Slope is positive, so that means that
It's going up.
That's more.
it's going up.
So as trees increase, birds increase.
By how
The
much?
trees you have, the more
Five-
birds.
5.4.
Birds per tree. Birds per hectare. Trees per hectare. Birds per tree. Birds.
Which one is it?
Birds per hectare.
Does everybody know what a hectare is?
Is that?
It's a measure of
Yeah.
space. It's kind of like what a mile is.
It's like an acre, but
Yeah.
smaller. Yeah,
Yeah.
Isn't that a cute acronym?
Alright, so yes, it is increasing, okay? So as your number of trees increase per hectare, your number of birds is increasing by 5.4.
So it's birds per tree. Wait, can you repeat that? Per hectare.
So as your number of trees increases by
Which is
one,
X.
which is X, your birds are increasing by 5.4.
Birds per hectare? But you're not increasing in hectare, you're increasing in trees. Both of them are per hectare though.
As the number of trees increase per hectare, the number of birds increase.
So what
That's
is
what I said, but you keep saying just birds per hectare.
You said birds per tree.
It
Yeah.
is birds per tree. No, it's not.
And
It's
then-
confusing though, because what if you have 10 hectares, but they have no trees? Is it still birds per hectare?
Yeah.
0 birds per hectare.
But then what's the point of the trees?
Birds gotta live somewhere.
Okay, but then wouldn't it be per trees?
Everything.
Because if the trees increase, then your birds increase.
So interpret your y-intercept, okay? Y-intercept, that means
Stephanie, you're older than me.
That means when y is 8, x is what? 0.
Yeah.
So if this is 8, my y-intercept is 8, that means that
0 trees.
when there are 0 trees,
There are 8 birds.
there are 8 birds. That's what that means, okay? So there's gonna be at least 8 birds if I have no trees. And then it's gonna continue to increase per tree. I'm gonna increase by 5.4 birds, which is about 5 and so.
See, that's my question. If it's in going by tree, then why are we saying birds per hectare?
Because the trees are measured in the number of trees. Look at one more. Read this one, don't shout it out. So it says a group of mathematics and science teachers wish to compare their exam scores. The science scores y and the math scores x gave them the regression line of -10 plus 0.8x. So the slope is clearly 0.8. So what does that mean?
Does that mean that as math scores go up, science scores go up by
Yes, so as the math scores go up by how much? 1. The science scores are going to go up by 0.8 because it's a positive slope. My y-intercept is what?
It's when students,
It's -10.
that means students in math get 0, math goes down by, science goes down by 10. They get a -10?
Well, let's
Like
think
that's
about
not possible.
that's
though.
not
You
possible.
can't get negative score.
You can't get a negative score here. I mean, you can very well get a 0, but I
that-
doubt that someone's going to put a negative score on
Or
your
like
paper.
here where the lowest you can give is a 50, apparently.
Exactly.
So maybe it's
It's
just
still pretty
So the y-intercept, is it suitable? Is it relevant?
no.
It's not relevant here, okay? It's not really suitable for the situation, because think about it. If you score a 0 in math, that means you're gonna have a -10 in science?
That
No,
doesn't make sense.
doesn't make sense,
You
okay?
have to stop at 0 because you can't get a negative grade.
Exactly, you can't get negative grades here, okay? I mean, even in those really strict type of countries, you can't get no negative scores, okay? So, that's what it means when you are interpreting your slope and your y-intercept. You're just putting to words what each of those numbers mean and using those numbers to reiterate that.
Talking
Okay.
about